I think one of cinema's greatest creations, just as a fictional entity, fictional character, it's the Toxic Avenger. Lloyd Kaufman, Troma film. It's a truly independent conquest of culture. We're here to talk about it. It's one of my inspirations. This is somewhat of a new series. I wanted to highlight the movies that I go to, that I've been going to for lots of years. This is one of them, and I'm happy to talk to you about it. 1984, the Toxic, and I talk the Toxic Avenger. Let's go.
Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
Yeah, it's wild, right? Because usually when we talk about movies, my film buffers, I know a lot. I tell you all kinds of things. Even within 10 minutes, I can go on little tangents that I know a lot of you guys are not familiar with. This is why this is the greatest movie podcast of all time, coming to you out of Philadelphia, PA. If you guys want to support, go to akapad.com. Guys, there might be ads that run throughout this, so we maybe have a new intro, and we're going to have an ad starting in the middle of some of these episodes. And the reason for that is, we're pushing more Peter A. DeLua AKAPAD product made by me and collaborators. We're pushing more of my creative services. So guys, you guys know I'm a non-stop machine. Whatever you're doing, I can help make it better. With all of that said, my original point before I did the promo of promos, I don't know a lot about Toxic Avenger and the origin of the franchise and creative decisions, and not too much of the air around the movie. I just remember always hearing about this movie when I was a kid, that he ripped off a guy's head and he punts it or kicks it. And that idea, guys, if you're young and you hear that and you're in the 80s, you have to see this movie. So here's the thing. Through my household, like this type of movie, not easy to get in or out of the door. My parents were not helicopter parents, but they paid attention. It sounded like I could maybe even bring them this movie to rent because of the cover. There's like a partially naked woman on the cover. I remember at times where we would be watching movies at my home when I was younger, and I would have to leave the room if there was like kissing and stuff like that. My parents did a very good job at shielding all of that. So it's not for a while that I actually see this movie, because my teenage years was me essentially becoming a VHS super freak of tracking down movies, paying exorbitant amount of money for movies, but just trying to build a library to always have access and always study, and hopefully even some of that baked into the dough type stuff, or having good bones type stuff, good piping. You guys hear today, and it echoes in this podcast. And then we move into the DVD era, and you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this, right? Where again, I would just rather spend my money on other things, and it was always like never not available though. One time at Lloyd Kaufman, right, I think they had all of Troma's content right there, like on their website. You could just like watch movies. It's very innovative, very open, very promotional. Like again, him being a promotion genius. These are one of the things I know about Lloyd Kaufman. But with all that said, it wasn't until my adult life. So it's post DVD era. It's the streaming era at this point. And I've had that point sold all my VHS. I sold off all of my DVDs. And we have streaming services. And there it is. Toxic Avenger 1984. And there it is. Toxic Avenger Part 2, 1989. And there it is. Toxic Avenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie, also 1989. And there it is. Citizen Toxie, The Toxic Avenger 4, 2000. So I started watching these movies. And then, like, something clicks. See, there's this idea that I'm watching something I'm not supposed to. As an adult, for this to affect me like that. And I develop like a feeling for this movie that I apply to Hobo with a Shotgun. I apply it to RoboCop. I apply it to Starship Troopers. There's a bunch of these other movies, and some of them are modern day movies, like Hobo with a Shotgun, where they're hyper violent. The gangs are I call it like they lack humanity, and we see a lot of these tropes in almost like mid-grade fantasy sci-fi movies. And I get it. Starship Troopers, huge movie, lots of money. I just went through the making of that book on my YouTube channel, but it's still like low-grade B movie science fiction world and logic. And all of this stems from Toxic Avenger. Because Toxic Avenger builds this world that fascinates me. And you want to say it's through the mind of Lloyd Kaufman, to where on set and as he's making the movie, he knows what to do and how to get it. Probably making the movie in his head equally. And it resonates and it comes through. And no one really speaks of Lloyd Kaufman as an absolute visionary. I feel Toxic Avenger is as influential in what people took from it as a Star Wars is. I apply this in a lot of my attitude towards my own creation, Uzi Suzy. It's my mini comic. I'm projecting for it to become the greatest mini comic book of all time. The idea and the ferocity and the violence and the nudity and the kind of I just don't give a crap element of it is in Uzi Suzy, and it flows through every single panel of that. And Uzi Suzy is always available at akapad.com. Uzi Suzy has editions to where it will never go out of print, guys, because we're in this for the long haul. And it's a part of that long haul mentality that Toxic Avenger, I mean, it hasn't had anything new since the year 2000. Along the way, what might be the biggest competitor to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came and went, and that was a Saturday morning cartoon starring Toxie himself and some new friends called the Toxic Crusaders. This world, the character design, the episodes, the stories, everything, the toy line and all, in my view, is a true one-to-one competitor to the Turtles. A lot of that has resonated. There's, I believe, right, some people brought back the Toxic Crusader action figures. What's wild, though, I thought for the Toxic Avenger to really become a little bit more significant in the mainstream, because he is a true underground creation, underground superhero subculture at its core. Marvel Comics at one time had a Toxic Avenger comic book series. I always felt like the Toxie himself and friends and what, however you wanted to incorporate the Trauma universe, it needed a strong comic book presence in black and white form, made available, essentially, have it be a sequential story. Do a couple issues a year. It doesn't have to be monthly, but to always have something available at these endless conventions that the Trauma crew are always at. I feel like a comic book experience is really the one thing missing from those who seek out and interact with Trauma films. But AKA Powders, yeah, a little bit new of a series. I'm trying to figure out how best to format this discussion. We have more like this coming, but this is the Influence series. I guess, we'll have new thumbnails, new ways to tag this, new ways to brand this. But the the Toxic Avenger and the Toxic Crusaders, absolute deep inspiration for your boy here, aka Pad, the film buff. Let's go.
Okay, that's a wrap.